So understanding your operations. So once again, this is part of a business planning series that NADF is offering. When you've decided to start a business and you're ready to take the next steps, you're going to ask yourself these questions, or you should be asking yourself these questions. How much money do I need to borrow? Sometimes when we think we know how much money we need and we give it further thought, or when we go to the lender and they start asking us questions about our business idea, we realize, hey, I didn't think about that, or I forgot about that. Maybe I need to do a little bit more homework and get quotes on how much that's going to cost. So the idea of this topic is to explain to you the different areas of your business plan that you need to consider, so you're not forgetting anything and you're better prepared to start your new business. So you want to consider all areas of your business, and you also want to make sure you ask your lender for enough money. Like, the last thing you want to do is go take the big risk of starting a new business. Maybe you're going to give up your job to start this new business, and then you've started the business, then you find yourself short. Like, you didn't ask the bank or NADF for enough money to start the business. So part of looking at your operations, it's going to show you a better idea of how much money you really need, like if you're going to consider all aspects of your business. So I need a plan to help me understand my costs. So this is what this webinar is going to show you today. We've all seen business plans. There's several types of business plans. Like, normally when you're looking at a business plan, it has these basic things. Like, in the beginning, it's going to start off in the front with the executive summary. So the executive summary is the fact sheet. It talks about what kind of business you are, a sole proprietorship, a partnership, a corporation. It talks about the business opportunity you see, and it tells the reader of your business plan how much money you're looking for. And then the next part of your business plan is usually like the business overview, where you're talking about the mission and vision of your business. And then another big part and very important part of your business plan is talking about the market. Like, there's a reason why you decided to go into this business. So you must have done your homework to show that there's actually people who would buy your products and services. So that's what's mentioned clearly in the business plan. And then the next big part of the business plan is the operations. So the operations is what I'm going to go into some detail with you today. So you'll have a better understanding of what it is when you're preparing your business plan. And then after your operations are done, then you're in a better position to start doing the financial piece of your business plan. So when we're looking at business plans, the financial piece includes like a 12-month cash flow, and then 3 years pretend numbers or projections into the future. And that's where we're looking at like your income statements and your balance sheets. And then at the end of every business plan, this is where you're going to include your appendices, things like anything that's going to explain to us more about what you've included in your business plan. These things may be like resumes of you and your staff. They may be things like quotes for equipment you want to buy. They may be like floor layout designs of the building you're making, or they may be copies of certificates of all the training you have. Like, just anything that's going to improve your business plan presentation, you include it. Okay. So why detail the operations? Well, two things. It's going to show what you've done so far to get your business off the ground. It's not just an idea. You've actually taken some time and you've put like thought and numbers and words to the business you're trying to start. And it's going to show the lender or whoever's reading your business plan, it's going to show them you have a really good understanding of what it is you're trying to do with your business, whether you're selling a product, a service, or you're a manufacturing business. So that's why you want to detail your operations. So typically, the business operations section, you can break it down into these 4 main categories. Location. Location means where's your business? Is it located in a physical location, or is it online, or is it both? So where are you operating from? The other one is equipment. So equipment is the tools you need to get the job done. So for example, if you're a restaurant, you probably want to make sure you have tables and chairs, the proper stoves, ventilation systems, fridge and coolers. Like, you need equipment. And then the other item is labor. So your business is not going to work without humans. So you're going to have staff. Quite often when people are starting a business, it's the owners pretty much doing a lot of the activities. And as a new business, you generally want to keep your costs down. So you're doing a lot of the different aspects of the business yourself. But if you are hiring people, you want to really clearly outline what they're there for, what they're doing, and how much you're going to pay them. And then the fourth piece of any business is the process. So this is describing how you're developing your products, how you're delivering your service. And there's systems in place to make sure you have quality control and you're continuously improving your business operations. So to summarize, it's the location, the equipment, the humans, and the processes. So those are the four areas we're going to go into when we're looking at your business operations. Depending on the kind of business you'll be operating, if you're doing a manufacturing process, it's a little more detailed because there's more steps when you're doing a manufacturing process. The example I'm going to give you today is of a bakery. I'm going to run through the whole scenario with you. So let's get started. So when you're writing this section of your business plan, this is usually like the middle part of your business plan. You can use headings, and then you can provide little bullet points underneath each heading, or you can write nice full sentences. It's up to you. The idea is you're going to have information for your reader about each area of your business. And then you're also going to find if a topic doesn't apply to your particular business, take it out. Every business is different and unique. You're not going to all be the same. So once you've completed your thoughts, you're going to have a detailed operations plan to show your funder. So when you're coming to NADF for financing, we're going to clearly see you've thought out your business well. You capture details about every area of how you're going to operate it. And then when you do this, you're also going to have a nice list of what needs to be done next and how much money you really need. Okay? So typically, these are the headings you're going to see in the operations section of your business plan. And there's many. And like I said, you won't need all of them. So there's your general day-to-day stuff. There's the part where you're going to describe why your business is there, like what product are you offering or what services are you offering. And then you're going to go into detail about like, what is your location? What does your building look like? And then when we go inside your building, what kind of equipment do you need for your business? What are the assets that you have? Who are the employees, or what are the job titles that you're going to have for your business? And there may be special requirements that your business needs. So we're going to talk about them and make sure you talk about them. Then we're also going to discuss your supply chain, because especially in retail, you're going to have suppliers. So we want to make sure that you've already made contact and you have a system in place when you're trying to get supplies wholesale. We're also going to look at production, inventory, cost, like how are you going to mark up your products. I'll give you an example of timelines. There may be certain registrations you need to get filled out and in place for your business. We're going to look at a payment policy, bookkeeping, business insurance. So these are several headings already, but you can keep adding more. So if you're working on your business plan and you've started this and you're not sure if you've captured all the headings that you think are necessary, when you show it to us, we'll tell you what you're missing so you know what other information you need to provide. So heading descriptions. So this is explaining the different headings. So general means like you kind of outline what that business is doing day to day. And this includes like how long you're open, what are your hours of business, are you seasonal, Are you year-round? So that's what that means. And then products and services, it's just simply describing in detail, like how many running shoes or what type of running shoes you're selling, or what type of bookkeeping services are you offering. The next part is the building, or the building and physical plant. So up to this point, I may be going a little fast. Does anybody have any questions? So far, so good? Why doesn't somebody send me a note saying I'm doing okay? Okay, so going along, so the building and the physical plant. So what we're looking for here is where, like, describe to us what the facility looks like, how many square feet it is. If you have a map of it, include it. If you've bought it or you're thinking of buying it, like, tell us how much it's going to cost. Maybe if it's on land, give a description of the land. If there's any zoning bylaws, if you know what the utility costs are, or if there's construction that needs to be done, or maybe some renovations. Like, when we're talking about the physical building, we want to know what it looks like. Give us details. And then equipment. Equipment is just everything you need for your business to operate. We want to know what they are. You can go line by line, and you can put like how much they're going to cost. And sometimes people come into businesses already with assets, so they already have some of the equipment they need. They've already bought it or paid for it. So you can list that separately, saying, I have $10,000 of equipment I'm going to put towards my business, but I still need more. Okay. And some more headings, human resources. So we talked about like employees. So if you're going to be hiring employees in your organization, it's good to have a title. And then under that title, you need to have like detailed points of what that person's expected to do in your business. So a job description. And you also need to say, are they full-time or part-time? Because that's going to affect like how much you have to pay for them. Compensation. Special requirements. Sometimes your business, it may need something unique. For example, we had a restaurant go up into a northern community. The applicant, he got a loan. Then he started buying all the equipment he needed. And then what he found out after he ordered his inventory and he was ready to open, he didn't have enough electrical amp service to provide for all the electrical needs he had, because it's a bigger stove, bigger ovens. So that person had to get additional amp service, and it ended up costing like close to almost $10,000 more than what he was expecting. And with that, it caused a delay in his opening, and he was frustrated. And because he didn't think about the additional amp service in the community, and it took time for Hydro to come up there and hook up. So you can see part of planning is to avoid all those delays. So special requirements for sure. Materials and suppliers. This is like where you're going to be buying your supplies from to run your business. Who are they? Where are they located? How often are they going to be shipping into your community, or how often are they going to be available to drive into your community, depending on where you're located. Production. So this to explain how you're producing a unit. For example, if you're making snowshoes, you should write down like how many pairs you think you're going to make in a month, how long it takes to make one pair of snowshoes, where you're going to get that special raw material to make snowshoes, because everything you're making takes time and there's a process to it. You need to write it out in your business plan so the funder understands clearly what you're trying to do. Inventory. When you're dealing with inventory, the big thing there is how are you going to manage inventory so it doesn't go to waste, so you don't order too much, so you know people are not stealing from you. We'll look at inventory. Another item is insurance. When you're operating a business, there's several types of insurance you may want to consider, so we will make sure we touch on that. and costs. Everything we're talking about has a cost. So how you get quotes, you call people who are offering those products or services and you ask them for a quote. You say, I'm starting a daycare business. I need a quote for children playground equipment. And then they'll send you a written quote, and then that's the number you have, and you can take that and put into your business plan as part of your costs. So this little fella, his name is Jim. Does he look like a Jim? Okay. So Jim has decided to pursue his love of baking, and he's going to take it to a new level. So Jim has started a business plan for a bakery in a small community. He has an idea of what he needs to do. He thinks he needs $35,000, and he's already bought a building for $5,000. He needs to figure out, really, is that enough financing he needs? And he also wants to make sure he's considering all the aspects of his new business. So we're going to help him through with that. Can you guys see this, my slide okay? Because the writing is in white. Yes, no? Jim Bob, yes, that's right. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, so what we told, hold here. So we were helping Jim with his operations section and his business plan. So we started talking about some of the headings he should consider when putting together his work. So we talked about general. So general means like pretty much what are your hours of business. So Jim says he's going to be open year round in Moose Factory, Ontario. For those of you that don't know where Moose Factory is, it's up the James Bay. And it's an island. Who's been Moose Factory? Any of my participants? Okay, so getting back to Jim, Jim's gonna maintain business hours from Monday to Saturday, and he's gonna open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and he's gonna close on Sunday just to rest. And the products he's gonna offer are breads, Italian breads, French bread, bannock, and he's also going to offer buns, pastries, donuts, and the other thing he's going to offer is coffee. But all the stuff he's going to offer is just takeout only because the size of his building, it won't allow him to be like a dine-in place. So and that led us to our next part, the building. So Jim was lucky enough to find a building that he could buy. So the building he came across was 40 by 50 feet, and it's located in a commercial spot next to the post office in the community. And it was built in 2015. He included a drawing of the building. Jim saved some money, so he was able to buy the building from the First Nation for $5,000, and he paid cash. And he did this back in April. And then after he bought the building, he realized he had to make some renovations. It needed siding, windows, and some insulation. So the materials were going to cost about $9,000, and then in addition to the materials, when you're he had to hire like a crew to help him build it to get it ready in time for the summer season. So the materials are $9,000, and then the labor is another $15,000. So easily $24,000. So remember when Jim said he thought he needed $35,000? Well, he's getting close already. It was just improving the building he found. And then we started talking about the equipment. So Jim is a baker. So he already has some of the stuff that he's going to put towards his new business. So he has a bread machine valued at $1,000. He's got pots and pans at $2,000, and he has like industrial coffee pots, which are valued at $1,500. So he's got a sizable amount of equipment already to put into the business. And then he made a separate list of the equipment he still needed to buy. So he needed a new industrial oven for $3,000, some specialty fans for $2,000, a suppression system and installation for $10,000, shelving, coolers, freezers, and a cash register for another $2,500. So Jim wasn't sure how much these were going to cost. So what he had to do, he had to call suppliers and ask them for written quotes, which they did. Happily, they did. And Jim made sure he asked them to include shipping because he's in a remote community. So it's going to cost a bit more to get these items delivered up there because of the distance and because he's on an island. So suppliers will give you quotes. It's their business to sell, so they'll give you written quotes. It's not hard to get quotes from suppliers. So with all the additional new equipment Jim needed, it came up to about $25,500. So his costs are higher, much higher now than the $35,000 he thought he needed. And then we talked about any special requirements he may need for his business. So here's the example. He needs to have 250 amps more in the building he has, because it won't be enough to provide for all the electrical needs of all the new equipment. So he got a quote from Hydro One. They said $6,000, and the quote he got was from June 1st. And Jim already has the food handler certificate. He's also worked in restaurants before. Jim has the background to run a bakery. But the person he's going to hire, the assistant he knows he's going to need, will have to make sure they have a food handling certificate. And this is not very expensive, but it's still a process and a step that Jim has to do to run his bakery properly. So that certificate course is $90. So now we're at an additional $6,090. And Jim is learning a lot about the different aspects of his business. Next, we talked about who is going to work in the bakery. So Jim, as the entrepreneur, he's going to do most of this. He's going to run and operate the business. He's going to be there full-time. And he's expecting to at least draw $35,000 to $40,000 in year one from the bakery. That's his hope. And he knows to do this, like, he'll need an assistant baker who's also going to be full-time, and he's going to pay that person $14 an hour. As for bookkeeping, Jim says he's not interested in learning how to do his own bookkeeping, but he will track his sales and give them every month to a bookkeeper who's located in the community. And that person is going to charge Jim $250 a month to make sure his books are in good order and they're available every month. And that's great. The other thing about the bakery, it needs to be cleaned, especially when we're dealing with the public and food. You want to maintain a really clean environment, especially when you're feeding people. So a cleaner's going to come in 2 hours daily and clean, and Jim's going to pay that person $13 an hour. So under human resources, the main thing here is think about right now, what do you need for the business? Like, can you do it all yourself? And if you can't, be realistic about it, because identify the other help you're going to need and figure out what you think you're going to be able to pay them, because nobody's going to work for free. So after we talked about the employees and what Jim thought he was going to be able to make as a wage for himself, we started talking about the actual production. So if the bakery is going to be open from 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, Jim actually has to go in there at 6 a.m. and he's got to do a lot of prep work, prepare the yeast and dough, and then some of the mixtures he's dealing with are pre-mixed, so he's just mixing some of them stuff up. But on a daily basis, Jim plans on having 40 fresh loaves of bread every day. So to meet that, he's got to come in earlier to make sure he gets that organized. And on top of the 40 loaves of bread, he's also going to make sure he has some pastries and some donuts, at least always on hand, at least 6 different kinds. Jim also says he will do cakes, 4 types of cakes. And if anybody wants anything special or particular, like maybe a birthday cake or a wedding cake, he can do that on special order, but he's going to ask people to pay half of that amount up front. So that's the production side of the bakery. And then when you are baking, you're going to have inventory. So we asked Jim, how are you going to manage your inventory? Like, you can just see the storeroom of like flour and sugar. So he's going to have a checklist to make sure he's not ordering way too much, but just enough so he has enough for the month, because the supplier he's able to work with is willing to ship products up to him twice a month. And you can see that on the supplier side in the next column. So inventory is like, how are you going to make sure you don't have too much inventory or just enough inventory? And it's important when you're dealing with like baking items. Jim has like recipes already. He knows how much flour and sugar and special additives he's going to need to make a certain type of cake. He knows that already. So he's written that down, because that's what's going to help him figure out how much product he needs to order for all those breads and pastries he wants to make for the month. And every month he's going to just double check his pile of inventory to see if he has enough. When you're in the remote community, it's a little bit harder to get suppliers. So you really have to make sure the ones you're going to work with are going to come through for you and be there when you need to get your stuff in. So for a bakery, there's a great food wholesalers, and they're located in Timmins. And this is where Jim plans on getting all of his ingredients and his packaging. And this company, they're going to ship twice a month to Jim, so he's always stocked with what he needs. And Jim found another place in Sudbury. They're the ones who are going to provide him with his equipment. So you can see from this page, we've already talked about the employees, what he's producing, the inventory he has to keep a handle on, and who his suppliers are. So from these two slides, we know a great deal about what Jim's trying to do and how much things are going to cost. And then there's one more slide. We started talking to Jim about charging and cash payments. So Jim was pretty clear. Nobody will be allowed to charge on account. All the customers are going to have to pay by cash, debit, or credit card. No charging allowed, and that's a good thing. Certain organizations, they can arrange for purchase orders, and Jim specifically identified key businesses in the community he felt he could let do purchase orders. The fire hall, the hospital, and the school board. Like, these were the three organizations that Jim felt comfortable that he could let them charge, and they would pay at the end of the week or the end of the month. And Jim was quite clear. It takes a lot of time to make wedding cakes and birthday cakes. So he'll want the customer to pay for half of that cake before when he takes the order. Then we started talking into the timelines, because Jim bought the building already, and he's anxious to start the business so he can start making money. So he wants to complete the financing application. He wants to make sure all the money he needs is in place by June 5th. And then he knows from the state of the building he bought, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get it renovated. So he plans on having the renovations complete by the end of July. And then in mid-June, he's going to order the equipment, because it's going to take at least 2 or 3 weeks for that equipment to get shipped up. And also in mid-June, he's starting to look around for the person he feels would be a good assistant to help him with the bakery. And then come August 10th, if all goes well, that's when he's going to have his grand opening, which sounds really good. And then we always ask about bookkeeping, because when you're running a business, it's generally not a topic that people are keen on. They're more interested on doing the business and making the money. But we need to make sure bookkeeping is addressed. So Jim already told us, hands off, I'm not going to do bookkeeping, I'm going to hire somebody. And that's totally okay. He's got a plan in place. So what Jim will do, he's going to keep track of his daily sales from the cash register, and he's going to keep track of all the expenses he makes on a weekly basis on an Excel sheet. And then at the end of the month, he's going to go walk that over to his bookkeeper, and then they're going to put it into financial statement format. And that's perfect. And then we also talk about business insurance. So Jim called the insurance company in Cochrane, and they told him for adequate business insurance coverage, they were going to charge him $2,800. So there's another cost. And then part of the registrations for a business, Jim had to get a master business license, and that cost $60, and he was able to do that online. And then he also registered for a business number with the Canada Revenue Agency, and there was no cost to that. So with these 3 slides and these little headings, we have a very clear idea of what Jim's trying to do and how he's going to do it and what it's going to cost now. So in summary, when you're thinking about your operating plan, think about it like, what am I going to need to open my business? And then from there, on a daily basis, what am I going to need every day to run it smoothly? So in the bakery example we had for Jim, originally he had the building already, and he already had some of the equipment he was going to put towards the business. Then in his mind, he thought another $35,000 should do it. But really, after he went through the exercise of looking at the different headings, it quickly became $58,000, like almost double what he originally thought he was going to need. So the bottom line is, when you're starting a business, the idea is you're opening the business because you're passionate about the business you're doing, and you want to make a living off of it. So you're always focused on the numbers, because at the end, it's the net income. Like, you want your business to survive and make money, so you can collect that $35,000 to $40,000 wage for yourself and hire people in your community to create other jobs. So the operational plan outlines particular components that allow your business to create value for yourself and for your customers. So that is the end. Does anybody have any questions or? I did something to my screen and I can't see if people are asking questions.
Hi, Kim, it's Dawn here. I don't see any questions on my end here.
Okay. So if you want a copy of this presentation, it's going to be emailed to you. You'll have the link. You'll be able to see the slides. If you're going to go into business and you've started your business plan, the headings we gave you are examples, and your business is going to be unique. So we can tell you what you're missing and what you need to add to it if you're in that stage. We like doing that. That's how we help you.
Hi, Kim. We do have one question. What software is most common for bookkeeping?
There are a couple on the market. Like the simplest software would be like an Excel spreadsheet. Like most people have that on their laptops, but then we go into the actual accounting software, and there's Adagio, there's QuickBooks, or are they the same? There's many. It depends like how big your operation is. Like, you don't want to get like an accounting software package that's meant for like a company that employs like 500 people. And part of what we do at NADF, like if you're looking at software, what you need funding for, and there's a category we have is called business support. So if you wanted to hire somebody, like somebody who was familiar with bookkeeping, and they were going to show you the ins and outs of setting up that accounting software package and coming to your business and providing you with online support or just face-to-face like mentoring of that bookkeeping package, we could help with a sizable grant of up to 75%, where they're going to train you how to do your bookkeeping, and you only pay 25% of that cost. For example, say if the person agrees to come and train you, and they're going to charge you like $50 each session. So if you do like 10 sessions like that, that's quickly $500, right? So that $500 is, it would be an eligible cost under business support, and we could pay for up to 75% of that cost, and you would pay the other 25%. So at NADF, we have loan packages and we have grant packages, and there's several options for people who want to learn how to do their own bookkeeping. Did that answer your question? Dawn, do you see any more questions?
No more questions, Kim.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us today. And Kim just shared her slide with her contact information if you have any questions for her in regards to the operations plan. And while you're working through your business plan, our staff here can help you with outlining the operations plan and any other part of the plan. Up until Kim will be signing off on this here, but next week we have Corey Robin. He's coming in to do the financial plan for the business plan. And again, that starts at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. And registration is done through our website. You can visit nadf.org to register. Now, Kim, do you have any other closing remarks you would like to provide?
Thank you for everybody for joining. Business plans they sound like a lot of work, and if we break them down into pieces that's manageable and understandable, like we can help you do your own business plans, and it's not that hard. That's it.
Okay, well, thank you everybody, and thank you, Kim. Some great information shared there. Until next time, we'll see you again. Bye-bye.